Hi, thanks so much for stopping by my channel today. This is Anna's Aqua Home, and today I have a quick couple things that you could do to elevate your wardrobe. I know I have personally searched Pinterest and YouTube before for ideas to maybe upcycle or decorate some plain t-shirts. I know all of us have lots of plain t-shirts around, and so I came up with a whole bunch of ideas. I won't get them all done in this video. I have one iron-on idea and one sewing idea that I'm going to be showing you today in this video for two of the t-shirts. I've got a bunch more ideas, so if this is something that you're interested in, definitely leave a comment and a like to let me know I should do more of these. But I hope you stick around today and enjoy the different ideas that I'm going to show you. It's time like these that I wish I had two cameras so that I could kind of point one and show you my face and point another one at the project. So I'm just going to show you my ideas, kind of go back and forth between them. I have one of my first ones that I'm going to do. Is super easy. This is something pretty much anyone can do right now. And I have a t-shirt, and I got these from Dollar Tree. Let me pull that in. Hopefully you can see them. They are iron-on transfers, and these were Cactus. They had them with cats and dogs. They had them with birds. They had them with anchors. I really like the anchors. I almost debated getting that, but I didn't. I went with these. So right now, if you go to the Dollar Tree, you could get these iron-on permanent transfers for $1.25. So they are very colorful, very pretty, and so I'm going to go ahead and lay them out in the design I want on my t-shirt. One thing I did first, I'm going to show you, I have these pins right here, and this is what I did. I tried it on and then placed these pins where I think the transfers should go on my shirt to make them kind of be the right height. I did notice it was about, if you take the underarm and you draw a line straight across to the other underarm, I tried it on several of my shirts, and that seemed, if you go across that line, to be right where you want to put your design. So we're going to go ahead and decide which ones, how many of these I want to put on my shirt, and we're going to get to ironing them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually cut them out before I stick them on there. That way I can kind of design and lay them out how I want them to be before really committing and sticking them on here. Should first show you an up close all the different kinds. There's some blues, pinks, purples. So I think these are going to be really cute. I've got this really mustard colored shirt that I'm putting it on. So we'll see which ones go well on here. I've got different shapes, I've got different sizes, so this should be a lot of fun. All right, I think that's going to be my layout. I'm going to go ahead and get my iron heating up, and we will come back and stick these on there. All right, they're laid out on here. They're about even from either side. I'm going to go ahead and take my pins out here around where the pins should be. So let me go ahead and take that out, and I'm going to start by putting my very first one, peeling it off. It's a little bit sticky, but it peels off pretty nicely. I'm going to go ahead and place this where I want it to be on the shirt. So once you stick it down, it's pretty secure. Then I get to use the next one. just put them at different heights so they're not all the same. So we got almost canvas materials. They're not super thin. They're nice weight. All those little pieces laid down. We're almost done. So I have my dry iron heating up right here, and it has no water. I read the backing and it said there should be no water in your iron when you're doing this. So I have that, and mine doesn't have a temperature on it. It just has different settings like cotton, wool, silk. This one says preheat to 120 degrees Celsius. So I just put mine on a high setting to heat it up, and I'm hoping that will be good. All right. So I have my ironing pad underneath here. It's a little mini one that works nicely. I've got these all stuck out, and then it says stick on here and then put something underneath it. So it says you're gonna place the iron on there, and you're not gonna move it up or down or right or left. Just put it directly on the part, and then you're gonna do it for 40 to 60 seconds. And then you're going to pull it up, and then I'm going to change to the next place and do the next place, but you're not going to move it. So we're not like really ironing. You'll see me put it down, pick it up. I think I'm going to do these 3 first for a minute, and then these 4 for the next minute. I've got my watch here. Let me go ahead and do timer so that I know I'm about that same 40 to 60 seconds. And then what it said is it said not to touch it. Like as soon as you do it, not to touch it for 3 minutes. Let it entirely cool down before you try touching it and feeling how they are, because these will hold the heat and they might burn you. So think this is good. We're going to put it down there for 40 to 60 seconds. How cute is that? There's my shirt with all the little cactus on it. Don't let it be a little wonky. There we go. I really like how that goes. I like the greens are balanced, the blues are balanced. That is really cute. And that was really simple. I turned this plain t-shirt into one that had a little bit more decoration, was a little bit cuter. I can definitely see myself wearing this. So, first one down. Now you could always go back and just poked myself with a pin. You can always go back and sew over these little tiny pieces. Let me turn that off. I am not going to do that. I'm just going to let the iron hold them on. The glue seems really sturdy, but let this sit for 48 hours. Yes, before you wash it. So let it make sure that the glue cures in there before you wash it. And then when you do wash it, turn it inside out and you should be good to go. So there's my first t-shirt that's been upcycled. Let's get the next one on the board. Okay, that one I just did was a no-sew upgrade. But right now, I think the rest of these are going to be pretty much with some sewing involved. So I have this really cute t-shirt. I absolutely love it. It's got cherries on it. I think this makes the perfect flea market shirt when we're going to the farmer's market to get veggies. The only thing is that it's not super long. It's a little short, and It's fine. I just think it'd be comfier if it was a little bit longer. So I was thrift shopping and I found this. Not something I'd wear, not my style or my size, but it had all this beautiful lace and this nice scrunch at the bottom. So I'm going to be cutting this off and using this on the bottom of my shirt. So I thought first about using the lace, but I think it might be a little bit busy with the cherries and then with the lace. So I'm going to be just using the bottom solid piece. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off just that bottom ruffled white piece. We're going to trim it again once I go through. But this is just a quick and easy way. I'm hoping I can upcycle this shirt that I really, really like into something that I'd be more comfortable wearing. And I will definitely come up with more things to use with this lace because this is really, really nice. It's got flowers on it and is really cute. So we've got this piece. Oh, so pretty. Now you'll see I cut it by the top lace because it's already scrunched up. If I cut it right here on this side of the seam, I would have to re-sew to scrunch it up, and I really like how it's already gathered here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to cut this because it's going to be bigger than I need. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this, laying my fabric or my shirt out. So it's going to be like this. I'm going to need the other side actually. And I'm going to lay this on here, and this seam where it's gathered, I am going to match with this seam at the bottom of the shirt. And I am going to start pinning. I'm going to start at the side seam. Here we go. And I'm just going to pin those two seams together. That way I have a very clear marking of where I'm going to be sewing over. And I'm going to pin this all around. Now that we got that, I'm going to just sew here, and then we're going to sew these two together once we get there. But for right now, let's go ahead and start sewing right here, right in between these two lines, and we're going to go all the way around. So I just stopped here. So let me pull this out and show you what it looks like. So here's where I started on the one side. It's all wrapped up in itself. And here's where I stopped. So now that I know how long these two are going to be, I'm going to actually turn this inside out. Lay this here. Lay this next to it. And we have the spot that we're going to connect. So I'm going to pin down here. You could measure it out beforehand, but I chose just to do it this way so that I could see exactly where I needed to end. Okay, so I'm going to start my sewing machine and sew down this end, and then when I lay it flat, I'm going to then next sew up this little space. Let's go ahead and get some scissors and cut the excess off. This will just make a lot less bulk when we go to sew. That final little spot closed. Get those tags out of the way. There we go. So now we have it perfectly finished off. So we can go ahead and finish sewing it together right here where we left off. And here is my new longer shirt. I think this is going to turn out perfectly. Once it goes on there, it'll add just that little bit of extra length, a fluffy bottom, a ruffly edge. I think this turned out so well. I may need to iron this down a little bit, but for a shirt for a few minutes, a scrap piece of fabric that I got thrifting, I think this project turned out really, really well. And I hope you are encouraged to find a piece in your wardrobe that maybe you don't like for some reason, it's too short, or you don't like the design, and upgrade it to a little bit more of something that you'd wear. I have this beautiful shirt here, but it is very plain. I love the color, but I just struggle to find what to wear it with since it is so plain. So I'm going to dress it up with some lace. I got this at Hobby Lobby. It's only a couple of dollars, especially if you get it on sale. And I'm going to do one right across the front of my t-shirt. And then I'm also going to do along the bottom edge. I'm also going to put some lace around here as well. So what I'm going to start with is just lining it up. Again, I'm going to go a little bit right underneath the, what are these called? The sleeves. I'm going to do it there, and then I'm very carefully going to pin it on, going just through one layer. I'm not going to go through both layers. That way when I go to sew, it'll be a lot easier. I'm going to start by just doing the top, pinning the top, sewing that, then I'll go back and pin the bottom. Probably shouldn't use white pins since that will be harder to show up. Through the lace. All right, I'm just going right to the end. I'm going to trim this when I get there, but I'm first going to go across the top, and I'm just going to try laying this as flat as I can, really tracing. It's going to be tedious over all of these little points. I could just do a line right here, but then when I wore it, these little points might pop up and I'd have to iron them down. So I'm going to take the extra time now, and I'm going to sew up and down all of these little points, only through one layer of the fabric. So I'm going to do the top points, and then I'll show you how I'm going to come back and then do the bottom points. While I'm doing that, I'm also going to, let me cut this off. Sew it on the bottom. And I think I'm going to do it on the outside of the bottom edge. I think that'll look really, really pretty. So I'm going to pin over here, just on one edge. I'm going to start the edge here, give a little bit extra, and I think I'm going to line up this pretty cross with this line on my shirt. So the cross section on the shirt sewn, that'll just give me a good place to kind of judge as I go around, make sure it's all going the same way. So let me pin this up and we'll get sewing. It's a little bit awkward to sew and get this all in because you're just putting one layer, not both layers, through. So I'm going to start here. I already have white thread in my machine. I'm probably going to end up cutting that little bit off. So I'm going to start right here. I'm doing this with just the regular stitch on my sewing machine, but you could certainly try and see if different bigger stitches or longer stitches worked better for you. Depending on the lace, you could even almost zigzag across this, but I'm just going to use a straight stitch. Just keep adjusting as you go, making sure it lies flat. Because of the lace I chose, this is going to be a little bit tedious, but I'll put on some music and you can watch me do the rest of this t-shirt. All right, I'm at the end. This doesn't match up perfectly, but that's okay. I'm just going to go around the edge because I'm not going to do this onto the sleeve. So I'm just going to cut that and trim that off right there. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead and sew down this right here and start working on the bottom. I think it'll be able to lay as flat and I won't have to come back and pin it. Just be sure you're only sewing through one layer of fabric. I have the rest of it bunched up here. And there we go. How is that? I sewed the top and the bottom. It was pretty tedious, but I got through it. So now I just have these ends and I sewed down here. So I think I'm just going to trim this off. There we go. And once that's under your arm, that'll be perfect. All right, and then this side, I just have a little bit to trim off. And I sewed over it several times so that it won't fray too much when it's in the wash. All right. I absolutely love the way that is looking. And now I'm just going to start on the bottom and sewing this. I'm going to just sew across this line right here. Actually probably right here, all the way around. So I'm going to go ahead and start on that. I will mention as I'm doing this that I'm not pulling the knit. I'm just trying to lay it very flat and nice, and then not pull it. Just let the machine guide it through, and that way it won't be stretched out when you go to wear it. Alright, I'm coming to the edge right here where I'm going to go aside. I'm just going to line these two up, lay this over it, and continue sewing right over that. I'm coming to the end. I had just enough of this lace. All right, I'm going to put these two together, lay this down, and lay this over, and then I'm going to fold it. There we go. And then I'm going to just run down there afterwards, but this I'm going to fold it over. You can see how I did that. Try to get those pieces up together. All right, and then I'm going to stop there, turn it, and then sew down this. All right, took a little bit of time. I did this in about 20-25 minutes. You certainly could cut down that time by getting an easier lace that didn't have so many little bumps, but for 30 minutes work, I think this is absolutely gorgeous. I will definitely like wearing this more than just the regular fabric. I will certainly enjoy wearing this more than just the regular t-shirt, and I think that just turned out beautifully.